Mow, blow, go.
Mow, blow, go. Mow, blow, go. Mow, blow, go. Mow, blow, go.
Mow, blow, go. And we're back. Mow, blow, go. We have Parker Hodge over here, Aiden Casca,
Howdy.
and myself, Ricardo Vargas. But today, it's not just us three. We have a very special guest with us. We have Gabe Sanchez from Sun Valley Landscaping. How are you doing, Gabe?
Good. How are you? Glad to be here.
Oh, doing great, man. Want to appreciate you for doing this in such short notice. We had sadly a very huge loss in terms of guests earlier in the morning, and we've been scrambling to fit someone in. So it's amazing that you were able to make it in such short notice. So thank you for that.
No problem. Always a pleasure to talk shop.
Of course, no, thank you for that. And just a quick, just to let the guests know how we met. We met at Blue Collar Summit, correct?
Yeah, Blue Collar Summit.
I think Parker and I were at the line for was it at the cafe shop?
Yeah.
And then we just started talking out of nowhere. So that was
Yeah,
kinda cool.
I wanted to approach you about your whole marathon run, so that's really what
Oh,
piqued
really?
my interest.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
doing
we were low
doing
on
the half
energy,
marathon.
and then we were like, "Let's go
Yeah.
get something to drink or something at the coffee shop." And then that's kind of how we just kicked it off. You were behind us, I believe, and we just started chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
usually how we meet a lot of people.
yeah, and it's always good, to be running into other people that you know that are in the same position as you, in the trenches and
Right.
just trying to be better.
Right.
The trenches
Yeah,
is
of course.
couldn't be more accurate.
One
The
thousand
trenches could
percent.
not be any more accurate. But you're doing that half marathon soon, right?
Yeah, in April.
In April?
Yeah.
Cool. How's training going?
It's going good. I'm trying to incorporate some speed runs, but kind of as you know, it's definitely a mental thing
Mhm.
when it comes to long
Oh yeah.
distance. So I feel like it'll
Is
definitely
it
apply.
is it cold in New Jersey right now? I'm guessing it's freezing.
Yeah, it's like 0 degrees right now.
Yep.
Jesus.
Same.
Can you run outside?
No, I try to stick to the treadmill right now.
Okay, good. Yeah. I was actually debating on whether to go running today, and just sitting here at my desk, my hands are freezing. So I think I'm gonna stick to the treadmill for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, dude. But let's get right into it. So can you tell us a little bit about your background? How many years ago did you get into lawn care?
So I got into lawn care and landscaping, I'd say around 2017.
Right.
Always worked for a boss before that. We had
Mm-hmm.
a big hurricane here in New Jersey, Hurricane Sandy, and
Mm.
that's
I remember.
when I found out that my previous employer was looking to hire some new employees, and that's when I decided to join during college years. And
Okay.
once I stuck around long enough, I realized, you know what, I should be doing this on my own, and so got into the business with a partner.
Oh, interesting. So the business you have now is actually a partnership.
No. I originally had started a company with a partner.
Okay, originally.
Yeah, but then we split during COVID.
How long did you work with that partner?
For 3 years. We worked together for 3 years, and then once we realized, we didn't need to use each other as a financial crutch, then that's when we decided, to start going our own way.
What kind of caused that pain? Was it just disagreements, or?
Yeah, I think it was a matter of scheduling, our view on employees, how we should handle pricing, and just I was pretty much wearing all the hats while still being out in the field as much as him.
Mm.
So he was more of a laborer.
Yeah, but it was 50-50, and then he thought, oh, like doing all the rest of the stuff, estimates, invoices, that's all. That only takes like an hour per week. Like it shouldn't be that much. And then once we started going, I'm like, it's a lot. And as you guys
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
And so,
it's an hour
Definitely.
every day.
yeah,
Yeah,
Probably even more.
it's a lot. It's a lot for sure. But yeah, that was probably primarily the main thing. I realized that I didn't need him. He was acting more like a silent partner, and so it didn't really make
Mm,
financial sense for me.
yeah.
And how many years ago was this?
When we split,
Yeah.
was during right before COVID. So we worked together from 2017 up until 2020.
Like 4 years ago. So how big did you grow with him? And then did you have to completely reset after that or?
Yeah, so we only got up to like I'd say like 75,000. Uh,
Mhm.
and then that's when we realized we didn't need a full-time job with our previous employer. And so then we decided, I think this is enough revenue, to kind of do our own thing. And, we'll still be comfortable. And I knew I was going to be okay because I was handling the back end of the business. But
Mhm.
then that I also did tell him, I'm like, listen, if you need help, if you need, help with the estimates and contracts, I got your back. I'm not just going to leave you hanging high and dry. And so that's kind of how we moved forward.
Gotcha.
Interesting, interesting. So from your experience with a partner, what do you think is the difference between having a successful partner and then like a partner that I guess you feel like you don't need in order to continue in business?
Well, from my experience, I've never had a successful partner.
Right.
To me, I didn't consider it a success. Otherwise, we would have stuck around together. But I think it is difficult to find a good partner. But when you do, you have to complement each other. You both shouldn't have the same strengths, and both have to have clarity on what the end goal is, and both have the same focus. Because then, otherwise, that's when problems start to occur.
Interesting, interesting.
Cool. And so can you talk a little bit about when you did split off and started yourself? What were some of the challenges? I mean, maybe from not having a partner anymore or just having to restart kind of in general, some of the challenges that you faced.
Yeah, so I thought it was going to be a lot easier. And something I did learn from him, which is probably one of his strengths, was accountability. So during COVID, 5 years ago, at the time I was like 26, and so he was close to 40. So he was very disciplined at that point. He was always saying, let's start at 6 a.m., let's work
Mm,
until the sun goes down 8 p.m. in the
Hmm.
summer, like
Hmm.
very like on top of that. And so for me, being, a young 20-year-old with ego is just like, oh no, I can start whenever.
mhm,
I can make my own schedule now. Like I realized
Hmm.
that was a downfall that I had to realize, and
Hmm.
hold myself accountable to, all right, like nobody's gonna
Hmm.
make sure that you're there on time other than yourself. And so that
Yep.
was one of the biggest things I had to learn going solo.
So what are some things that you did in order to hold yourself accountable? Because from my position, I can say that's one of the harder things for myself as well.
I think everybody.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that probably is. Yeah, it comes down to that.
Yeah, definitely. It's always an ongoing process, right? I think that it's just a matter of self-awareness. You have to be able to look at yourself and realize when you're slacking. And, sometimes obviously we like to talk about the highs, but a lot of times we don't like to admit the lows. And so
Mm,
I think it's just holding yourself accountable, at least on a weekly basis, because you could have really bad weeks, especially with personal life going on. Sometimes that seeps over into your business, and
mm,
so that's something that I have to continuously focus on. A lot of times, clients too, if I see that they start to talk about the quality going lower, not showing up on time, then that obviously is a huge a factor that plays into holding myself accountable.
right. Do you feel like you actively, like on a weekly basis, think about this, or is it more just like subconscious, like you know how you're doing?
I try to aim for weekly. I try to have routines in place. Try to have a
Right.
morning routine.
Hmm.
That's why I try to do things like the half marathon. Like
Hmm.
having discipline with those things. You have to just consciously tell yourself, okay, like you have to kind of go out of your way to do these things
Hmm.
and exercise, that muscle.
Do you mostly feel like it's a struggle to keep yourself accountable for being on time, mostly when you're kind of hitting burnout, or is it just like all season long you're just like kind of struggling with it because in my opinion, I struggle worse with like when it starts getting hot outside and you're just at the peak moment where you're like, this is not what I want to be doing, kind of, is when I'm like, all right, let's just sleep until last minute, get up and go.
Yeah, so actually, I think it's the other way around for me. Like, I think
Mm,
during the peak season is when I'm usually on top of things more. And
That's true.
I feel like I work
Mhm.
better under pressure, but it's when things start to slow down that I kind of put my feet up and then I was like, oh, wait, hold on. Like, you have to keep this momentum going. Just because the leads are a little bit low and the work is low doesn't mean that you should be, sitting back. As Mike Andy
Mhm.
said, that's go time during the winter or during the off season.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's good. Can you walk us through your first few years of business, like what challenges you went through, what kind of successes you had, or
So I would say that one of the bigger moments for me was so during COVID, I actually locked in a really big client, and he alone produced 40K for the business, and so
so that
that
was right off the bat.
yeah, including
Gotcha.
the 35K that I was bringing with me. So I was just like, oh, I'm set. I pretty much,
Mm,
it's now I'm keeping his half, and the guy that I worked for, very humble guy. He owned like 8 different businesses, very successful, and he gave me a lot of advice, on business. And one of the things that he taught me was don't take on more than you can handle. Because we're always
Mhm.
looking after that shiny new client, and it was a huge hit to my revenue when I let go of him, but I volunteered to do that decision. I told him, I was just like, listen, I'm going to take your advice. I don't think I can provide the correct service for you if I'm,
Mhm.
killing myself on this property. If I had a crew of 5 people, then yeah, I would love to continue to service you. But, that was something that I had to put my ego in check. And, in order to produce the correct results, I felt like I needed to start smaller. So that was big for me.
Interesting.
was that like a commercial contract, or can you describe what that contract was?
No, so it was a residential, but I guess in the area that I'm in, it's called Cold Snack. It's a lot of farms. It's big. It was like a 6 acre
Mhm.
property, so it was
Okay.
yeah, it
it,
was a lot. To mow the lawn would take like about 6 hours, and we whack
yep.
everything. It
Okay.
was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it seems like you struggled early on with your ego, which I think that's something that we all struggle on. We think that we can do everything by ourselves. We think that only us, like we're the only ones that can do something good and stuff like that. How did you manage to eventually get past that, or not get? Probably still struggle it a
Or
little
have
bit
your
now, but like,
No, yeah. I mean, I still think that I need to keep it in check, like have to absolutely
Mhm.
remain humble no matter who I come across. Doesn't matter
Mhm.
if they're below me, above me, I think
Mhm.
that character is important with building relationships, both inside out of business and outside. So the the thing that helps me is meeting as many people as possible. That's why at Blue Collar Summit, that was the first time I went to an event like that. I've been to other events
Mhm.
before, but that one really has a special place in my heart now because it was with people who are in the same industry as me, and so that helps keep me accountable with my ego because I get to meet people that have done what I've done tenfold. People that are ahead of me, and it makes me realize that I have a lot of work to do if I want to be able to get there.
And do you have any problems when it comes to capital in those first few years? Was that a struggle that you faced, or?
Uh, yeah, that definitely. I think even now, you know, I'm a lot more established. I think cash flow is always, one of the biggest mysteries when it comes to a business, right? Especially if you're trying to scale. Um, at the beginning, it was to a point where I was starting to go pretty negative. I would say 2021 was
Hmm.
when it kind of hit me right in the face that it's just like,
Right.
wait, hold up, like actually this business could fail. And it was about to. I was about to quit in 2021. I was ready to give it up, and I was just like, you know what? I should just go full time somewhere else and
Uh-huh.
just focus on that. That way, I don't have to deal with the stress. Um, but I think I decided to turn it around at that moment.
Interesting. And what changes did you apply based on those struggles that you endured for your current business today?
So there was something I realized uh, about myself was the sales aspect of the
Hmm.
business. So as things started to drop off, I started to lose a couple clients because I wasn't showing up on time. That's when I realized, you know what, like if I'm trying this hard to try to get a full-time job, like what if I just applied that effort towards this? Like let me actually
Hmm.
like, lock down and actually try to produce results, try to get sales, try to sell to my existing customers. And I didn't realize, how much power there was behind that. And that's when I started to realize, okay, wait, hold up, I can actually do this. I can actually produce the revenue results that I want. And that's when I kind of knew that, like, that was also an ego check moment. It's
Mm,
just like just because you have a business doesn't
Hmm.
mean that you're going to succeed. Like it has
Hmm.
to keep running based on the effort you put in. Like you're going to get out whatever you put in.
absolutely. So then with those changes, if you want to briefly touch on last season, like just fill us in revenue, like did you have anyone working with you? What services did you offer? What did your business look like last year? Are you running a CRM? Just kind of what does the business look like today?
Yeah, so I had my brother help me out for a lot of the big projects. I'm thinking about putting him full time now this
Mm,
year. I think what I really wanted to focus on was building a solid foundation first. Because I used to, have part-time helpers the first couple of years, and I think that I was trying to do a little bit of everything, trying to do stonework, trying to do sod, fertilization, all of that. And then I realized that I was spreading myself too thin, and it was just easier if I just lowered and simplified my services.
mm,
And so that's kind of what I've been focusing on in 2023, 2024. Is just lawn
Hmm.
maintenance, shrubs, mulch, and just the
Hmm.
basic softscaping services.
Hmm.
CRM, I use Copilot. I've been using them all year, and website design, I've been using Lawn Care
mm.
Media for the past few years, and so they've definitely been solid on that. I actually just spoke with them, told them that I need to update everything, and so the guys there were giving me a lot of insight on how to narrow down now my core services and my locations. And so that's pretty much what I've been trying to do before I start having employees is I want that solid foundation first. And that way building up is a lot more simpler and it's not going to be so shaky.
Did you mention where you're located, by the way? I don't think I ever.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, right, right, right.
Yeah.
What part of New Jersey is it?
It's by the shore. So like Asbury Park, Monmouth County
Asbury Park.
basically. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Can you tell me, did you like using like Copilot and stuff like that, or
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't experience any issues with Copilot. The only thing that did happen was the processing the credit card discounts.
Mm,
So I don't forward that on to my clients, but after hearing a couple people at Blue Collar Summit, I'm going to do that now. So I was taking the hit on that, and so when I signed up for the package that included the discounted card fee. And so something got mixed up along the lines where I spoke with a representative and they said you shouldn't be charged it, but then now
Hmm.
it's suddenly not included on the package anymore. And so there was a lot of miscommunication there. And then after, I was just like, you know what, I fully believe in what Mike does and his company, so I'm not even gonna argue about it. So I kind of just let it slide. It's one of those things in business you just have to shrug off, because at the end of the day, it is
Hmm.
producing the income that I want. So that was the only thing, but very minimal.
So let me get this straight. So you tried enrolling the fee to the client, and then now you're still continuing to just pay it yourself. You're taking the hit.
Yeah, I never did, and I never did charge the client the credit card fee.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I've always taken the hit, and the reason why I did that was because I think I heard it in a podcast from Mike like a few years ago, and so that's why I was just like, oh, I feel like I shouldn't do it. But nowadays, everyone does it, like every business, every restaurant. So I think I'm going to give the ACH option as well. So then we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, my company, we're gonna implement that. We just did it for 2025. I mean, I just looked at the numbers and I was like, well, I do plan on raising my prices by probably 15 to 20% anyways. So I think I'd rather just do a 15% raise and then hit them with the 3% credit card fees or whatever it is, to kind of balance it out. I'm mainly just looking for even numbers. I can't stand the pennies here and the pennies there. Like, it's just something that I would prefer to do.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It can definitely be a hassle, and it's a decent amount of money. Like you could really like for me, it was 10% of my expenses. So I think just knocking
Mm.
that out of the way, will I could easily finance a mower, for example, if I wanted to with that kind of money. So yeah.
Do
Hmm.
you do you relatively like what's your opinion on other products that Mike produces, as in like the lawn care media design or the website design? Like, what's your opinion on all of them?
I think that overall it's pretty good. It's a pretty solid product around the board. I've used his templates, for door hangers. I use Brad, his CPA, that I believe he's the accountant for Augusta.
Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, he's a solid dude.
I think all of us here use them.
I don't use them,
Parker
unfortunately.
doesn't use
Yeah,
them.
shout out my man Brad. He definitely, he's transparent, he's open, he gives good advice, and he looks out for you more than his actual business. That's his passion, is trying to make sure that we're getting ahead. So yeah, like I would rate it 9 out of 10, obviously for everything. 10 out of 10, just small things that is miscommunication, but I would recommend it 100%.
Mm.
Interesting. So, since you like Mike's products and what he has to offer, what did you think about Summit 2025?
I thought it was amazing, honestly.
Hmm.
You don't, I feel like you don't really think about it until like you're like alone reflecting on what was said and what was
Mm.
discussed. And then I was just like, wow,
Yes.
like that was really powerful stuff. Like on my flight
Hmm.
back home, I was just thinking about it. It's just like it's crazy how much it changed my mentality and my mindset. And so I think that it was definitely worth the trip. Because
Mm.
you obviously have to, if you're not local, you have to dish out the flight, you have to dish out the hotel. But you think about it, we're so quick to spend that on a random vacation. We're quick to spend that on the night out or on the weekend or partying with the boys. But this
Right.
was, something that is going to produce results for us. It's something that's going to increase our income. So investing in ourselves, that's priceless. So that was definitely, I'm definitely going next year. That was top tier for me.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part or favorite day?
I would say the workshop was really good, but I would have to say Sunday, Sunday, or
Sunday,
yeah, or what's it? No, Saturday,
Saturday,
Saturday, Saturday,
Saturday.
the last day. Yeah, that was my favorite part because I realized in the first day, made a friend, right? Made a couple friends. Second day, I showed up a little bit late to print out my stuff at Staples, and I kind of
Mhm.
sat where it was like empty, and so like I wasn't
Right.
really interacting with anyone that day. And then after, I thought to myself, I was just like, it's like what Mike said, you're gonna get out exactly what you put in. You know, if you're not kind of speaking out to people, you're not going to get any of that. And so I told myself, it's just like, all right, like you have to approach at least three people today. You know, get out of your comfort zone because these are the people that are just like you. You know, they're people that just want to do better. And so obviously you were one of them. You know, and that's what led to this. The third one was I walked up to Mike, like it was like I was grabbing a snack and he was walking past, and then I got a moment to, you know, to really talk to him for a bit. I know he was on the schedule, but I feel like I wouldn't have been able to say what I would have said, like when everyone was waiting in line. I was able to
Mm.
really, you know, get to hear what he had to say, and he was really listening to me. It wasn't just, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like a line of people going through him. And so to me, that was a top moment that I was able to, you know, thank him properly and tell him like how long I've been
Mm-hmm.
following him and all that. So yeah, I would say Saturday was my favorite day.
And that was your first time. You said that was your first conference. So that was your first time actually meeting Mike.
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, how did you feel?
It was cool. I mean, like, I wanted to, you know, in my mind, he's like, you know, almost like a celebrity. And so
Yeah,
it's just
right.
like, but at
Yeah,
the end of the day, you know, he's like a normal ass dude, someone that, you know, is just trying to help other
Short.
people and very
very
humble,
short.
very, very humble. And so,
Yep.
to me, it's like, it was great, you know, to be able to meet him and someone at his level, you know, I always think I'll always have huge respect for anyone at his level.
Dude, it's funny,
Yeah,
isn't
dude.
it? Like, I
Yeah.
kind of had to check myself and a couple of us. We saw like some people from the turnarounds and stuff, and it's like, wait a second, like they're literally just exactly like us. They just run companies and they happen to be on the turnaround. Ricardo was on the turnaround.
Yep.
Oh, you were on the
Yeah,
turnaround?
so I guess yeah, so I guess I had a little different experience because I actually had people come up to me and stuff, not just for the video, not just for the Copilot video, but some of the people either watched my videos or they watched the turnaround video as well, so they recognized me from that. So I had a little bit different experience, but
Hmm.
Little clout.
like the clout, but like for example, like Yard Dogs or like William
Yeah.
and Larissa, um, like yeah, they're just people, like
How,
they're just people behind a
how
screen.
did you deal with
That's
like
all it
all
is.
the comments? Did you get any like bashing comments on your turnaround?
No, so surprisingly, no. I was kind of ready for those, but everybody was very supportive. It was like, love what you do, love the video, keep it going. Like, not to get too deep into it, but I've had like at the very least 20, 30 people say that they voted for me, and it somehow still lost. I'm pretty salty, but
I don't know how you lost.
I,
I
I,
have no
sin-
idea how you
I
lost.
sincerely do not know how I lost because I know, for one, everybody in Augusta voted for me. So that's like 100 and something people. And then like 20, 30 people else. Anyways, I don't want to get into it because I don't really care for it.
Yeah,
But
we actually had Estrella on the
run the boats
podcast.
back.
We had him over to the
Uh huh.
Airbnb during conference, so that'll be coming
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, on
Like
Friday.
after
So
literally they announced the top three, and then we had them that night, and we were like, "So, who do you think won?" We were pulling their legs.
Oh
but
man.
no, they're good people. They deserve it.
Yeah, yeah.
They're good people. They deserve it.
Great
But
guy. Great
But
guy.
but you said so Saturday was your favorite day? Was it only because you met Mike, or were there any talks that really like stood out to you?
mhm.
Yeah, so I also met someone else. So the first friend I made on Friday was Jesse. He was also on the turnaround, and
Mm.
he definitely got a lot of hate on his video. But it was, I believe
Mm.
it was
Which one? Which one was that one?
uh, it's his company is Edwards Lawn Care, I believe.
Edwards Lawn Care. Let me quickly look at that. I don't really remember which one it is.
Yeah,
Empl-
I think it's in
Employees
Missouri.
take over his business, it falls apart.
Is that what that is?
I
With
think
that one?
that I think the cover screen is like negative 100K or something like that. Mistake 104K mistake.
With Jesse from
And
Edwards Lawn Service?
Yeah, yeah, that one.
yeah. I think that's it. Which one is that one?
Employees take over his business, dot dot dot, it falls apart.
Oh, so it's like one of the first ones.
Oh, this is the dude that like moved to California or whatever to do like solar and then
Yeah,
came
yeah,
back.
yeah.
Okay, got you. I remember now. I
Oh,
remember.
yeah. Like the guy that couldn't really figure out what to do what to do with himself.
Yeah. So that was the guy that I became cool with, and at the end of, the whole conference, we ended up having a full-on conversation. We sat at the bar, and you would
Oh,
think from the video that he doesn't know what he's doing, but he does. He has a lot of
yeah.
insight. And that's, I guess, like another point where ego check comes in. Like we're so quick to assume or judge people based on just surface level, descriptions. And he was showing me like a lot of his numbers. I'm like, dude, you're doing very well for yourself. Like compared to
Mm,
me, you're doing a lot better. And it makes me wonder. It's just like why did you even ask for the help? And I guess
mm,
that's why to him probably Mike gave him more personal advice instead of business advice,
Hmm.
because his numbers were
Yep.
already pretty solid to begin with. And so
Yep.
to me that was good, because I made a friendship right there from the conference, and obviously gonna still stay in touch with him. And so it was the connections that made it my
Right.
favorite day. The connections on Saturday is what really helped me, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's business, but we're human. So the connection, the community, that's really what it's about.
yeah, that's
Yeah, no,
cool
that's crazy
because,
because we actually yeah, we actually met at conference last year.
and
Yep.
So
I
that's
was gonna
pretty.
say that's probably the biggest thing I got from
Mhm.
conference last year. And then it was cool going to conference this year already with a couple connections, maybe
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, it's just I would say that's important.
I'll definitely say for someone, just to give you reference, 2024 is my first full time season as like fully committed to doing lawn care. And without these two guys, I don't think I would have been able to keep going. Like, I've had phone calls with them where I've been almost given up, just been like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Like everything's breaking. There's no money in the account. Like panicking, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Dude, just go cut grass." Like it's not
Yeah.
that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
go make grass
awesome.
short.
I have to agree. It's one of my biggest takeaways, and that's one thing we said before we went to 2025 summit was like, let's try to connect with people and maybe add them to a group chat, and we can just stay on each other. Like
Yeah.
when we're in our lows, we just need to reach out and be like, guys, like I need help.
Yeah,
You know
I mean,
the
a big one of the one of the
yeah,
big
yeah.
things that not even Mike, but a lot of the other speakers focused on last year that I didn't see most of them focused on this year was like having that support, right? Like we had a bunch of speakers last year, if I remember correctly, that really focused on like, look for people, like look for other business owners that are, usually in the same industry that you can like fall on for support and they can fall on you for support. Like they really focused on that very deep because I think last conference was really just about like burnout because that was like a big thing in
Mm,
2023, and I mean it's going to be a big thing every year. But like yeah, like whoever you meet at conference, whether it's this year, next year, 2 years, like make sure you keep in touch with them because like just as much as they might need you, you might need them
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah. It's
That's really important.
it's definitely awesome to be able to, be able to lean on each other, like not just emotionally, but from a business
Hmm.
perspective. Just like you said, like
Hmm.
you guys told Parker, like just mow lawns. Like we're doing it too. Like we know it's bad, but it's not that bad. So
yeah.
it's always good to have
Well,
that in
Parker's a
common.
special case.
Last year was rough. It was a
Parker's,
bad year. It was bad.
It's good though. You grew a
Oh
lot
man.
though.
Oh yeah.
yeah, you
You,
grow a lot.
you know what's cool though about the connections from Summit is like I obviously had like some local guys I talked to and whatnot, but when it's your local guys, yourself and them, your ego's not in check. Your local competitors at the end of the day. So, I mean, I
Mm.
feel I can never trust them to be fully transparent with me. I can never tell them exactly what I'm going through, but I mean, we're like states away. We
Hmm.
can 100% tell the truth because we want honest answers back. So
Yeah.
that's it's different,
Huh.
especially people that follow Mike.
Right.
I
Hmm.
never
Yeah, we all have the same kind of basis.
I never thought about that with as far as like local competition. Like, are you
Mhm.
saying that there's people that are in your state that were at the the summit as well?
No, not at the summit, but
Oh,
people that I
okay.
just keep in touch with, like around here. Like
Oh,
I
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
I
Yeah.
know a lot of my competitors. I talk to them pretty often. We try to help each other as much as we can, but we're not over here talking about how much revenue we did last year. It's like
Yeah.
you don't share everything.
Well, something that I learned in the past couple of years is that, finances shouldn't be taboo. I
They
feel like
shouldn't.
it's this topic that people don't want to discuss, just because it makes people uncomfortable or people assume it will make them uncomfortable. And I think that if you have an open mind, it's being transparent about that. It's just another conversation. It's where no one's here to judge. It's all about, helping each other or even praising each other. Like, oh, like that was a good year for you. Like it's not about competition, but like you said, a lot of people don't have that mindset. It's an uncomfortable
Right.
topic for them.
Yeah, I have to say I agree with you on Saturday though. The guys know right now, but it changed my whole direction. Like we're not gonna talk about it yet because it's coming in a later pod. But I'll tell you off the air. Saturday night changed my whole future real quick.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure out what bro's talking about. I just remembered.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
I don't even. We'll talk about it
I was
after,
like,
but
I was like Saturday night. What? I just remembered
so
what happened.
let's back it up one day though. I think all four of us are sick.
Friday.
We all have seasonitis, I think, right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What did you
I think I have
what
less of
did
a
you take away
seasonitis.
from that? What cures did you stand up for, and what's your plan for next season and going forward?
So, what I realized was that the winter services that Mike offered, with
Hmm.
that plan, I didn't understand it at first, and I was asking the people around me, and they didn't understand it either. And then when we did the Q&A,
Mm,
pretty much everyone was asking about it, like they were confused on it. I was just like, wait, but you're making less money. I don't
Yeah.
understand that. But at the end of the day, it creates this balance. Even if you're taking a small hit, like you said, there's going to be jobs where you might not be making as much as far as budgeted hours. But then when the time comes during the winter, you recover that. And also, it's stability for your employees. It's kind of like the subscription based model. And so I saw the potential in it. I obviously want to run the numbers for my business to see if that would be something that works because people have been asking me. It recently snowed here. They're saying, "Oh, are you doing snow services yet? Are you doing any of that?" And when I think about it, it's just like that might have been a good way to approach, the seasonitis because it's also like saving money too. Instead of getting it in big
mhm.
one lump sum during the fall, you're kind of spreading it out a little bit throughout the winter, and that's
Right.
also a smart play. So that stood out to me with the seasonitis. So I'll see if I can incorporate winter services as long as the numbers make sense.
So tell me, because what I've seen as an insider and as an outsider is like everybody in Augusta Nation understands winter services to the T, and they know how to sell it, they know how to incorporate it, they know what it should have and what it shouldn't have. Like, what part did you not understand, or not just you, but like other people as well? What part did you guys didn't understand?
Uh, So I think it just from a numbers perspective didn't make sense to me because if you're charging like in the example that he gave, 800 for a spring cleanup and 800 for a fall cleanup, I didn't understand. It's just like, okay, now we'll give it to you for 200 instead, but you're also going throughout the winter. And in my mind, it was just like, and then I think in the video example, it was you're saving money. It's just like, why are you getting paid less at the end of the day? Just to work throughout the winter. So that was the part that didn't make sense to me at first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so like kind of like losing out on the revenue that a regular cleanup would bring versus like the spread out revenue for winter services. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, because the
Okay.
revenue would be considered less, I guess. But
Right.
I've also, played with the idea. It's just like, okay, well, if I do that, maybe I could bump up the price a little in general all season round, instead of saying like, oh, like
So
200 a month, maybe 250 a month, but flat, like all around the board, every month, no matter spring, winter, fall, whatever it is. And that's why I said I
Hmm.
want to run those numbers to see if it makes sense. And even if it takes a little bit of a loss, I'm okay with that because Mike did said you can sell it better to gain more clients as well. They prefer that, so that's why that also stuck out to me is you can increase your revenue from a customer perspective.
Hmm.
So I was kind of in the same dilemma and like still am. I have to figure this out because I agree with you. I think winter services is a good model. I because the same thing, like I'm super busy with fall cleanups, as I'm sure you are, like during that time right before winter. So I was
Yeah,
thinking like that might allow me to maybe add Christmas lights because that's a time sensitive thing in that window. And then you still have that spread out revenue of leaf cleanup slash winter services throughout the whole winter. And we get snow, so I do that as well. And then that way that would last you even longer through winter as well, up until, spring rush starts back up.
yeah,
But
yeah, absolutely. Oh, what's your opinion on Christmas lights? Do you guys do them like for
I
like?
don't,
Well, I know
but I
you did,
know,
Ricardo. You did like 30K, right?
yeah.
Dude, that was. I think it's probably like the most fun I've had in like my whole landscaping career, dude. It was so much fun,
Really?
but so it was like because it was something like I guess what Mike says is true. Like it might have been a distraction a little bit from like fall cleanups and like regular services, but like it was so much fun. Like going to like getting the estimates and then getting it accepted and then doing the design, doing the quote, and like you just see so much money in these lights, and then you have to buy the actual product. Like it's a whole separate business from like what we're used to. So I was like very excited to that, and like just seeing that my market really resonates with that service was fun, and like just seeing how you go from the actual design to like in life, like wow, you just did that. Like we kind of do that stuff already when it comes to like mulch or like projects or like bush trimming, but like it's just like something that wows people a lot. It wows people. Like Christmas lights will wow people more than a mulch installation, right?
Yeah.
And the margins are amazing even when you have to buy the product. So like I feel like if your market's fit for that, I feel like you should try it 100%. Um, but it was a very fun thing to do. I really liked it.
Nice. My only concern is like, is there a liability with like using like the really long ladders, and having employees go up, basically on the roof to install.
Yeah. So the first year I would just do you and then one guy on the ground. So you can have the you can take the liability.
So
It
if
just it
you
just
fall
really
off, it's on you.
yeah. If you
Just make
fall off,
sure
it's
you're
really on
insured
you.
for it. Just talk to your insurance agent.
So we're technically insured for 15 feet to 20 feet.
So what's
That
that?
covers
That's like
almost
one
two.
story.
Oh, and no, it covers almost
It's
two
two.
stories.
Oh, okay.
It covers almost two, pretty much. But like you gotta think about it, like you're not going up there. You're not running around while up there, unless you're me
You're
and you think you're Spider Man. but no, yeah, you're not running up there. You want to go in with really good grip. You don't want to go after it snowed or after it rained or
you'd
anything
think.
like that. You
Get
definitely want to be
special
careful.
shoes.
Yeah, you have like these I think it's cougar paws, I forget. I think it's cougar paws. You have the right ladders, you have, everything has to be right. Cuz you're on the roof, you fall off, you might die, or worse, you break something and you're still alive. So
That's worse.
I think
No.
that's
What?
worse because like
Yeah,
yeah, because if you die, you die. But like
Hold on a
if you're still
second.
alive, like I
yeah,
think
like
that's
if you're
worse.
paralyzed, I guess,
Wait,
or like a
Yeah, I think that's
vegetable.
that's way
Yeah.
worse.
do we actually need to turn this into like a therapy like session? Are you okay?
Yeah, yeah. You got something to say, dude? Like,
No.
you feeling okay?
Listen, man, I don't know. I was really scared up on those roofs. No,
Hey,
but
I don't
it,
want to
but it,
hear it. I literally called you. Was like, dude, I can't get up here, and you're like, get up there, and I was like, I'm not getting up there.
Oh,
No,
Parker was scared of a tiny little roof. It wasn't even that
no, no.
pitched.
It
It wasn't
was
even that
all right.
pitched.
So the first floor had like a
Flat.
balcony, and then you
Yeah.
had to put my ladder on there to climb the very
oh,
top roof.
no,
And every
thank
time I
you.
would get almost to the top, the ladder would like shift and almost like kick out, and I was like, I'm not dying today. I'm
Dude,
not.
for
Like, I'm
for
good.
next Christmas season, I'll set up a camera
Bucket
so you
truck.
guys can capture how I do it. I mean, like I
I'm
wouldn't
getting a man
encourage
lift.
I wouldn't encourage anybody to do the way I do it, but like I lost my fear of heights really, 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 really quick. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
I'm
Bad.
getting a man
yeah,
lift.
no, I feel like I used my hands, I used my bare hands, and I used my feet to kind of like leverage myself a lot. It's probably not the right thing, probably not the OSHA verified thing, but it worked out and we made money on
This is
it,
the
so
first
I think
season.
it's
That's for
fine.
next year. Safety second.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, I'll definitely
Safety
use
second.
I'll safety sake. I'll definitely use a lift because like the thing about Christmas lights, it's like once you do like 1 year, you can usually set them up for the rest of the years, like 2, 3 year contracts and stuff. And so like those reinstalls, you can set them up for like a week in between, like the first week or 2 weeks of October/November. So like for everything that was hard, you can literally just rent, which what I'm gonna do. You can rent out a lift for the week, make a lot of money on them, and be probably 100 times safer and probably a bit more fast as well. So like that's the good thing about that is the good thing about Christmas lights. But yeah, if you ever have any questions on that, you should hit me up. I will be glad to point you in the right direction.
Oh yeah, that it's good to know, someone that's actually done it, and then that way I can, possibly implement it into my own business.
Dude, yeah. So talking about implementation in your business, what is your 3 year plan for Sun Valley Landscaping the next 3 years?
Oh, what's my what plan?
Your 3 year plan
Uh,
for your company.
so I think my plan is basically to be able to have employees. I want to jump from, the sub 200K to the 500K. Uh,
Mm,
Definitely want to be able to do the stacking away the cash. Obviously going to have my brother full time this year, and so
mm,
I think that if I hold off for possibly this year, I think I can make the jump after that into probably by year three from here on out. So 2028, I'll definitely be at the 500K mark, and
So
mm.
2025. What's your goal for revenue wise for 2 employees?
for 2025. Yeah,
Hmm.
just I want to be able to stay at probably around the 200K mark, and so I just want to make sure that my prices are good. If I have to raise prices, then that's fine too. I just don't want to reach that wilderness period, that
Mm.
where Mike
Mm,
said where I'm trying to, just get a bunch of work and just trying to hit that number, that top line revenue.
mhm,
I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that the numbers make sense, the hours stay the same, and I'm obviously not overworking myself or my brother to the point where, it's just a business that's barely making it, or it's on, it's on the back burners. So I think that if I focus on that, I think I should be able to, put away a lot of cash and, hopefully make
mm.
that jump sooner than later to the 500K stage.
Do you just plan on selling more of the services you already provide, or do you plan on doing like another service?
So I've actually been cutting back um, on services. So
Mm,
I'm trying to focus more on, the services that I can easily show other employees, and the services that are pretty straightforward, where I don't need to get
mm,
licenses, like for fertilization, because I was doing that for a bit, and then I realized that the numbers were good when it came to like the granular, but once it came to like
mhm,
spraying weeds, that really ate up my time, especially if there was a lot of square footage.
mhm,
Going back to
mhm,
do a backpack sprayer, filling it up, like it really makes sense when you have the truck and like the big tank. Like that's when you can really bang out
mhm,
those jobs. And so that's why I
mm,
realized, okay, this isn't really for me. I don't really know if I want to be dealing with chemicals. It's not my
mhm,
specialty. People
mhm,
will, they won't water their lawn, but they'll blame
mhm,
me if I'm fertilizing it. They'll be like, oh, well, it should be,
mhm,
dark green all year round if you're taking care of it. And it's just like, no, you have a part to play too. So sticking to the core services, used to do stone jobs. I'm not going to do that anymore. That was way too complicated. People didn't want to pay when they needed more stone.
They
It's just
suck.
a hassle. Yeah, yeah. Stones are. It's one of those complex services. As simple as it is, sometimes people are like, "Oh, well, I thought you gave me for this square footage," and it's just like, "Yeah, well, you want more depth." Like, it's harder to judge depending on the size of the stone. So it's one of those complicated things. I'm just letting go, and so that's why I think my revenue is going to take a bit of a dip. And so that's why I want to be able to reinforce it back with the simple services and then aiming for 200K.
Hmm.
Nice. I like that.
Dude, that sounds amazing. Sounds like you really got a plan to go and chase your goals.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the I guess specialties that I have or strengths that I have in the business is that I've really honed in on uh, building that foundation. Because I've made a lot of mistakes on the way to get to where I am now. And I think that if I continue to just work on what I know really well instead of trying to be good at everything, then that's going to produce the most results for me.
I'm curious, do you spend a lot of time thinking even longer term, like 5 to 10 years where you want to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I try to write down, like in a journal, like what I want to accomplish, where I want to be. Typically, those are more like I guess like personal goals that I try to uh, think about. Like
Yeah.
where I want to be, like living situation, like having kids. Because I'm not sure how old you guys are, but I'm gonna be 32 this year, so I'm at that age where I'm done with like the party scene. I'm done with, like just going around on dates. Like I'm just trying to, I want kids, I want to be able to do that. I want to have a marriage, all of that. So I have those goals, within the next few years as well.
Right.
Dude, trust me, I just turned 21 and I want kids too, man. So you're not the only one. I
Yeah.
want a family.
The
But
marriage comes first.
yeah, you got
Mm.
plenty of time though. You got your whole life to enjoy right now, your 20s.
Oh man, if only he knew.
We should have given more context on ourselves. So
We
I'm
should have given you
I'm
a little more
21,
behind the scenes
Ricardo's
context.
21, Parker's 23.
23. Oh yeah, so
Yeah, he's a full uncle.
2020. I'll be 24 in April, so we're coming close.
Yeah, so see that there you go. You guys are, I mean, you're doing very well for your age, props to that. You're a lot more established than I was at 21. I was, a snot-nosed kid at that time and didn't know what to do. And even if I did, even though I did think I knew what I was doing, like it wasn't in the right direction. But,
Mm.
it's awesome to see you guys that you're this mature and this established with your business and, already going out to conferences, joining Augusta, like those are big moves, so that's huge respect for that.
Thank you.
So since you kind of touched, like you briefly mentioned Augusta, I do have to ask the question:
Yeah.
have you had any future plans, or do you have any future plans of joining Augusta?
Yeah, I've thought about it. I was on the fence. Obviously, in that moment, I'm just like, damn it, Mike's doing what he just taught us, like
Right.
with the time sensitive sale. And
It
and then after I was just
It
like,
works.
yeah, it does work. And then I was thinking, well, I do trust him, but it doesn't make sense for me right now. He
Hmm.
did say it. He mentioned it to a couple people. He's just like, if if you have to consider if this is a cash issue, then don't sign up right now. Or
Mhm.
someone even made the comment like, "Oh, like, what do you think on getting a loan?" And then paying the interest. He's just like, it's the same thing if you just pay the 1,500 every month. Like you're going to pay the same amount. You might even pay less if you just wait and then join. And then so to
Yeah.
me, I was just like, okay, like what? Let me not pull the trigger just yet. If it makes sense down the road, if I want to scale it or exit the business, and it's something that I could be able to sell, then sure. But right now, let me lock in a little bit more, and then I can move forward with that decision.
I'm in the same boat.
Dope.
Exactly.
Dude, that's dope. So, dialing back a little bit to Summit, I think I could speak for all three of us. Favorite speaker was Dan Ralphs. Last year he was amazing. This year he was amazing. And based on his talk, his main focus was making a great CEO, and he was really focused on the vision statement. Did you come up with a clear vision statement for your company or for yourself?
Yeah, so the vision statement for me is, and I don't know if you guys are religious, but I like to do a prayer every morning, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe that we're here for a reason, and we have abilities to give to other people. And so to
Mm-hmm.
me, it's like, how am I able to serve my community? Because you can only tackle so much in your life. And so for me, it's just like, okay, well, what abilities do I have? Right now, I have an opportunity to grow a business. I have an opportunity to provide jobs. I have an opportunity to, people to help people that, they don't want to be out in the heat anymore. They're like 70 years old, 80 years old. How do I best serve them? Provide a service that they need, and, deliver the quality. So to me, it's a community sense. Like, how can I be of service today, or how can I provide for my community? And that's what I've been keeping intact with myself, and that's what I want to be able to show my future employees as well. That's not just show up and try to mow the lawn and that's it. I want them to know that they're providing a service for this community, and one day they might not continue to do lawn maintenance, but they're going to realize that this is the town that made them who they are. Like my brother, for example, he's doing fire academy right now. He wants to be a firefighter, so I know he has that sense of community as well. So that's why, to me, he's a stellar worker. I know he's going to be a great full-time employee. So I want to be able to have that process. When I'm hiring, is someone that has a sense of community.
Awesome. I like that.
Interesting, dude. I think like that's amazing, and I think as business owners, our one of our main responsibilities is making sure that people around us, their goals also fit into our goals, and that's one of the things that was made very clear by Dan Robson in his vision statement. So I think that you're on the right boat when it comes to that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like to think so. We'll see once we'll talk again once I have several employees, and then let you know how it goes. I'm sure it has its ups and downs.
Oh yeah, no, that's for sure. But so we have Parker that needs to dip real quick. So where he's gonna dip, and Aiden and I will stay back to wrap it up. So
Okay.
I've got to go take some. I got to go take a vehicle to get some tires on it, so I got to peace out on you. But hey, Gabe, I really appreciate you coming. Last minute introduction, and really enjoy all the information you gave us. And I really look forward to seeing what you do this year.
Oh, thanks, Parker. It was a pleasure.
by the way, Parker loves equipment and trucks and stuff. That's why he has to go take care of all that stuff. So like he'd just rather do that than do this. And, like it's all right, I guess.
What
Fit
truck?
in
What
love
truck?
with it.
What brand?
So currently, I have two Duramax
Oh
diesels,
boy.
but I
Oh
do
boy.
plan on moving to F-150s. So
Oh, F-150.
I'll
Okay.
save Ricardo the headache, and I'll just end it there.
All right.
You guys can talk. You guys can text. Robot, I'd be like Duramax diesel engine, 5.7 liters with like a transmission.
6.6, but anyways. So
Anyways,
so hey, I look forward to having you back on here in a little while. Really enjoy it, but I've got a headache. Head out, guys. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks a lot,
all
Parker.
Hey,
right, man.
Parker, thanks.
See ya.
Yeah, man. Charles.
Parker Charles Hodge.
Parker Charles Hodge. I'll never forget
Is
that.
that his middle
But
name?
They
yeah,
accidentally
it was
wrote
so
Charles as
funny.
his first name on his pass, so we had to put in marker above it, Parker. So it was just Parker Charles Hodge all weekend.
That's hilarious.
Dude, no, that's crazy, dude. Parker's really funny. He's a good guy.
No, yeah, for
But
sure. But
oh
we
man.
definitely want to stay in touch with some of the guests we have on
Mhm.
throughout the season. So I don't know, like
Yep.
late to after spring rush sometime, we'll definitely hit you up, have you back on. But before we end it, we're starting a
Before we
tradition.
end,
We want to
yes.
share a recent win, a recent short, very short term win, something small that you're proud of recently, business or personal, whatever you want to share.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Let's think of something.
So personally, right now, I'm at the 2 month mark for no alcohol, and so
Awesome.
Mm,
yeah,
that's
so
huge.
that's definitely big. Because I think right now in society, it's really easy to, just have a social drink to go out on the weekends, especially at a younger age. And, I still go out, like for birthdays and stuff, but
Hmm.
it's definitely tough to say no to a drink. And people are like, well, why aren't you drinking? Like it's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah,
And also where I live too is like a big, like it's a
Oh
kind
yeah.
of like a party scene type of town.
I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
and
Jersey
so
Shore, essentially. No.
yeah, well, I mean, not all of Jersey Shore is the same, but there are areas that are more,
Yeah.
that like here, there's a bunch of restaurants and bars, and so it's one of those go-to places for people to go out and have drinks, and so to be surrounded by that environment and be able to say no to it, is huge for me.
Gotcha. Ricardo, you got one?
Dude, for sure. Dude, I was gonna ask you if you got one.
See, I'm gonna go super, super small, okay?
Okay.
I learned so I was on the phone plowing the other day, the day I got back from conference, and he taught me something, one of my buddies. Apparently, you're supposed to, when you backblade away from a garage or something with your plow, you're supposed to push the snow up to it first so you don't drive over and pack it, then lift it, then go on the other side of it and drag it back. And I was mind blown when he told me that.
I'm gonna just act like I know what you're talking about, but
Little golden
sounds
nugget.
sounds like a win to me.
Yeah, there you go. If
Sounds like a
anyone
win.
plows,
It'll help someone out there.
yeah, surely.
I think my recent win would actually be like as of yesterday. Um, like I finally decided to not finally decided. I've been decided, but I guess like really lock into the things that I have to do, like personally and business. Like not that I was not locked in before, but like I was at the gym and I had like this internal monologue of like I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, and like throughout my whole workout, I was like, all right, like I was trying to figure out like a solution of we're gonna do this first, do this first, do this first, do this first, and like these are my priorities. This is what I have to do. This is what like must haves, like non-negotiables and stuff. So like had like a really nice internal monologue with myself, and I think now I'm on the trajectory to do everything I need to do and reach the goals that I have for this year.
Awesome.
I will
That's a good
say
win.
I saw you post that, and the
Yep.
next morning, you were like, or no, was it last night? It was later. You posted it yesterday midday or morning. Then last night we like had that call about like locking in on
Hmm.
the podcast or whatnot, and I was like, dang, he
Yeah.
posted this on Instagram, and not 24 hours later he's like doing exactly what he said. So I applaud you for that. I noticed that.
Thank you. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. I need to take. I have things that I want to get to in a very short time frame. So in order to do that, I have to be all in.
So just a quick segue before we wrap up, like, how did this podcast even start? How long has it been going on? And like I don't really know what
More blows
You
go.
got to listen to episode 1. Nah.
you got to start from episode
Uh,
one.
Gotta follow the
no,
channel.
so like we said, us three met at last conference with a couple other dudes, but they fell off the cliff. So we're
Small world.
we're checking in like 3 times a week or whatever, FaceTiming, just going through our struggles or whatever. And Ricardo has been making some content previous to that, and we're like other people would listen to these conversations we're having. Like why don't we just film this and put it out? Like we're spending all this time talking, like you know filming it. We're gonna have more directed conversations, more productive. Like,
Yeah.
let's just do this thing. And so we just hopped right into it.
No, that's awesome, and it's gonna serve a purpose too. You know, it's gonna help people. People are gonna get takeaways from it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
goal.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent in like bringing value to others, right? Like I feel like one of our main missions as humans is to leave the world a little bit better than how we found it, and one easy way to do that is through media. So like just with the conversations that we have, we someone out there will take our struggles and our solutions and implement them into their business or life and come out the other side much better. So I feel like that's something we owe to people just as humans.
1,000%.
And actually, now that we're talking about this, Ricardo, we need to us three get together and make a vision statement for the podcast. I think if we're really going to start
Dude, we
taking this
need.
serious.
Let me just call my boy Dan Rouse real quick. He'll help us
Yeah,
out. You
exactly.
know, I have him on speed dial now. Oh, dude. No, dude, but thank you very much for making the time for us. And, we have really enjoyed this conversation. Really brings a lot of value and knowledge to everybody else. So thank you for making the time. Thank you for coming.
Oh,
Yeah,
no problem, man. Sorry if my dogs were making too much noise in the
I
back.
didn't
No,
even
you're
notice
good. I
them.
didn't even hear that.
Yeah,
Didn't even hear
yeah,
them.
they were making crazy noises. I was like, all right, hopefully this isn't distracting to them. No,
Mhm.
but I
No,
appreciate
not at
you
all.
guys. I appreciate you guys having me. It was a good time. Always love talking to fellow business owners, fellow like-minded guys. So, it's always a pleasure. And, hopefully we'll stay in touch and definitely see each other at the next summit.
Yeah, let's
Yep,
hit us up during the
definitely.
season. We'll hit you up. We'll have you back on. It's been good.
We'll have a we'll have a follow up then.
All right, nice.
All right.
All
So
right,
that's
you want to
it.
end the
Mob
recording?
logo out.